Hello there, Blenderheads. I hope you're having a great day. I thought today I would share something with you which relates to the way I approach game development um, and basically my philosophy behind it, and hopefully it can bring you some inspiration and possibly you may even be interested in what I'm doing here. So, when I develop a game, and I've built many, little games, most of them I didn't finish, but one thing I can say for sure is that every single one of them I had a lot more fun than I do playing most games. And the reason for that is that when I build a game, I don't plan it out. I don't use any kind of template or any kind of blueprint or anything like that. And I think that a lot of people get confused about what it is they're really trying to achieve when they start building their game, because we have so many conflicting ideas when it comes to this kind of thing. I know this from my own experience, so when I say this, I am speaking for myself, but I think this applies to a lot of people. Certainly, many people that I've met who are interested in game development, this is definitely what happens to them. So they'll start building out their game. They're excited. They're inspired. Um, they're interested in doing it, but they don't know why exactly they're doing it. What I mean by that is they obviously have the motivation to build out the game, but they haven't defined in their own minds why it is that they want to do it. And so they have these conflicting ideas. On the one hand, it's simply the joy of building the game and seeing it come to reality, come to fruition, seeing it become a reality. But on the other hand, there's this cloud, so to speak, that hangs over them, and it's this idea that all the time they're spending on it, with all the time that they're spending on it, there should be some kind of reward. In other words, they should be making money out of it. Now, look, I'm sure for those of you who have attempted game development or have looked into it, you probably know that making money out of a game is quite challenging. Now, I personally have never made any money out of a game. However, I have built many games, and I had a lot of fun building them. I had more fun building the games I've built so far than I've had playing most games. I say certainly I've had more fun building them than I've had playing, completed games. I mean, I love games and so on, but honestly, being able to build your own game, or even building a scene, or building a diorama, or even just building an individual 3D model, to me is the most rewarding thing when it comes to the dopamine that I get out of that. So I mean, if you think about it, you have this endless 3D space here, and in that empty 3D space, you can do absolutely anything you want. It is the ultimate version of SimCity. It is the ultimate version of Minecraft, except that you're not limited to the types of assets that you can put into the scene. You're not limited to, cubes, as in the case of Minecraft, if I can use that as an example. You can really do anything. You can literally build each individual part on this grill over here. You can do anything you want. And if you think about that, that is really the most fun type of game that there is. Now, with regards to making money out of your game, well, this is what it comes down to. If you can decide in advance before you start working on your game that that is your goal, well, then you're doing something completely different, which is perfectly fine. If you can make money out of a game, my hat goes off to you. Honestly, I mean, what a fantastic way to live, building games, for a living and potentially becoming a millionaire. But for me, assuming that, um, I don't know, one never knows what's going to happen. If enough people watch this video and they like what they see, maybe it can become a game that, who knows, I can crowdfund at some point and maybe release on Steam or something like that. I certainly have nothing against that. But when I start doing this, that is not what I have in mind. And that's why I have so much fun uh, building these games. Now, that being said, this is only something I discovered in, let's say, the last few years, specifically the last 2 or 3 years, because prior to that, I was confused and mixed up, just like I think most people are. So I would start building a game, and then I would think that, I'm spending too much time on it, and what am I going to get out of it? Nobody's going to play this game. Nobody even knows about it. Maybe I should put my time into something else. And so it would be like a yo-yo. I would come to Blender, which I loved, and then I would go on to something else. Start building another business, or put more time into work, or study for some new certificate, or learn some new skill. And then I'd come back to Blender, all motivated, batteries charged, inspired because maybe I saw something, or I just decided, to heck with it. I'm going to go back to Blender and I'm going to start building my game. And then after a while, the same thing would happen. I would start feeling guilty. But what I eventually realized is if you decide in advance why it is that you're doing this, then the guilt falls away. And when the guilt falls away, there's no friction. And when there's no friction, then building the game becomes the game. Building your game is the most fun game because you are building the environment that you want. Now, what I do here, for example, I'm just showing you a scene here that I've been working on for 2, maybe 3 days. When I say working on it, I mean literally when I have a few minutes, I come into the scene and I've been building vehicles and objects and importing some of them and so on. And then to me, that is just the coolest game. It is absolutely limitless what one can do here. So I've started, with one vehicle, which was this one, and then I went on to that one, and then I thought, what if I do something more like a tank, like an MCV kind of a thing, like a troop transport. Then I did one like this. I did one with a different texture, which I think is too dark. I'll probably change that at some point. Then I thought, well, why don't I do here I have another military vehicle like a tank, and then a jeep, and then I thought, well, why don't I just go all the way and do, a jet? Obviously not the right size, but it's just so cool to me. I get so much fun. I even, when I go to bed at night, I think about what else I can add to my scene tomorrow, and I feel like a little kid when I do this because I'm not thinking about getting anything external out of it. Building the game is the game, and this is what I've started to call organic game development. Now, obviously, if you have a plan and a blueprint and an end goal in mind, that is a very effective way of doing things. But is it fun? Unless you're really going to go for the money, then you got to ask yourself, why are you doing it? And if you're doing it just because you like it, well, then simply define in your own mind that that is the reason you're doing it. You're doing it because you want to have fun. Because if you do it that way, you will not be disappointed. You will definitely have fun playing around with Blender and building out your scenes and your games and so on. And you know what? If you do want to give yourself that option, that possibility, that potential of it perhaps becoming a successful game that other people play in the future, well, then all you need to do is add one step to it, add one element to it rather, and that is to work publicly, or rather to play publicly, which is to say, whatever you do, you simply share it with people. For example, I've started sharing images of my scene that I'm playing around with here in Twitter. It's completely free. Nobody's seen it so far. If you're interested, you can check it out. You can even follow me at it's called Don Hartig Art. So at Don Hartig Art on X. I'm on Instagram as well, but I haven't posted there yet. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe. Even leave a comment. Tell me you'd like to see more. And then what I can do is I'm more than happy to give you updates. Simply posting, short videos like this of how my scene is, what my scene is becoming, how I'm developing it, what it's expanding to become. And the really fun part is it's the ultimate exploration game because you're building, which I love. Personally, I love. I think that's what a lot of you love. That's why we play sim games and construction games and city building games and Minecraft and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's the ultimate exploration game. Think about it. This is the empty universe, right? And whatever you build out here becomes the world that you live in this universe. So, I already know in my mind what I'm going to do next. I'm going to put a fence up here, and here I'm going to put a gate, and maybe at that point I'll use one of these characters, or I'll create another character, and then use one of the navigation add-ons in Blender, or maybe just move it all over to UPBGE, which is now becoming very capable. I'm very happy about that. You know, maybe at some point even move it into Godot, but you know, for me, it's all about following the dopamine when it comes to this, because I know in my mind that I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing it because it's fun. And so I won't do anything that isn't fun when it comes to this. In other words, when I do this, I'm not doing it with money in mind. If it becomes something, um, something that other people want to play and so on, well, I have nothing against that, but that's not why I'm doing this. So anyway, sometimes I feel, you know, the more one says, the more the message gets lost. But to summarize, I call this building organically, or organic game development. And what it is you start with one thing that you're motivated to build, one object. Like in my case, I started with this truck, and then I thought, why didn't I make another vehicle? And it would be cool to see what they look like parked next to each other. So I built this one, and then the same vehicle with a different texture. You know, I had two trucks at that point. This tank, this Jeep, this jet over here, these over here, and then this one, and then today I built this one over here. You know, which is a different texture. So um, just follow your heart, follow the dopamine, and you will not be disappointed. This is the most fun game that there is. Simply building your own environment, developing your game organically. If you want to start putting logic into it so you can walk around in your own scene, this world that you yourself are building, then do that. UPBGE is free. All the game engines are free now. Anyway, guys, I hope this could inspire you, perhaps give you a different perspective on what this is, to me at least, and maybe this is an approach you'd be interested in taking or experimenting with in the future. Start with one object, build out from there, and if you get tired of it, start with a new scene, start with a new object, but maybe it'll become something different. Maybe it will become an entire world. Maybe it will become your universe. And if you want to share it with others, well, that's an option that's available to you as well. It's free. Um, you know, people will always be interested in what you're doing. So anyway, guys, I hope this could inspire you, maybe motivate you to get back into Blender without feeling guilty if you're like me, or worrying about what you're going to get out of it in terms of, you know, it's there are easier ways of making money, in my opinion. Obviously, if you are one of those people that's made money out of games and 3D models, well, my congratulations. Honestly, I mean, what a fantastic life I imagine that is. But there you go, guys. Organic game development, organic building in 3D space. There's no limit. You are the engineer. You are the creator in this space. And follow your heart. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel like you're wasting time. Just keep going and see what it becomes, and then share it with us. Share it with us. Uh, Let me know in the comments if you're doing something similar. Okay, guys, I don't want this video to become too long. If you like what I'm doing here, please let me know. Like the video, even subscribe if you like. And then I'm more than happy to update you on what happens with the scene or with my next scene. And maybe it will become a game at some point. And you can see daily updates on what happens in my little world over here. So, have a great day or have a great evening. And hope to see you soon, guys. Looking forward to your comments. Bye for now.